How do we turn lessons into wisdom? Yeah, gray hairs. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a new morning show, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. It is Tuesday, thankful Tuesday, the 30th. Okay, so we got one more days or two more days because it's the morning till the end of the month. So we could go to wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. Okay. And you know, I did not back in the 90s, what I used to remember about a postcard is that they were less than stamps. I'm finding out now for postcards, it's still 53 cents. What? What happened? All right, let's kick off the dad joke. It's right here for you to read. Some days I truly do amaze myself. Other days I'm looking for my phone while I'm holding it. But a boom, hey, I believe this joke was posted by my friend Eugene. Shout out to Eugene. Where are you, Maryland? All right, around the DC area, you are hilarious. You post daily. You truly entertain many people. So I thank you for that. I really do. And speaking of struggle, I mean, can you relate? I'm calling this the school diaries, and we can kick off. The weatherman is heading off to his weather van very soon. Although I hear some coffee being made in the cafeteria. My kitchen. All right, let's hear from. Let's see, what is his name? Teaching with Zips.
To call and let you know that your son is having a rough transition back into the classroom, especially after winter break, kicking off second semester. He's kind of kicking it off on a rough start. Yeah, he keeps telling everybody how he would much rather be at home. He keeps putting his head down. Sometimes I've seen him cry in the corner as well. Yeah, so he keeps wishing that he was at home. And I was just curious, I think it's at the point where I think we should try to grant his wish. Are you available to come pick him up and take him home? Mom, I know I'm the teacher, but I text you 5 times to come pick me up. I'm not trying to be here, bro. Oh my God. All right. Yes, I'll stay until the bell rings. Can you have some pizza rolls ready at least? All right. Love you too. Bye.
Oh, hilarious. Teach with Zips. Follow him on Instagram. That was pretty funny. I appreciate that. Although I'm not appreciating complaining teachers, I do know that comedy and laughing at ourselves can help. Teachers, if you're unhappy about being in school, find other ways to teach outside. And I know at YSuperstars, this is how we got started. We started with science classes. Jimmy's the science nerd. And that's how we kicked off with Lego robotics, marine biology. And then I said, wait, what do I want to teach? And I did the mindset of the entrepreneur for middle school and for high school. So, which I got to teach goal setting and all these, the power of writing things down. So it's been a year. Yeah, it's been a year since we have not done that, and we're in a new state. So it's getting back in there. So teachers, if you hate your job, I get it. There are so many ways to teach. It's also YouTube. There's other sources. Now, if you want to rely on security, I know for some people, and that's a big struggle. But anyway, weigh your options. Okay, so how do we turn these struggles into wisdom over time? For one, I love his teacher because he's making comedy about it. I'm sure his students love him. And so I really do. I love that picture right there. I really do appreciate how how he's really mocking himself. He called his mom bro. I call my mom, bro, I will see like her hand marks on my cheeks. Now, my mom, Peruvians, we don't do the chancla. That's more Puerto Rican, I would say Dominican culture, but at least not in my household in Peru. She didn't use no chancla. I think her hands were more dangerous than the chancla could ever be. Or how many of you had that look? Hmm. I want to learn. Sometimes I say that, but then I'm like, yeah, that's not really my personality. I mean, I flare up, I get angry fast, and then I go up and I go down. So the face is, that sounds like too much work. Too much work. And here's our favorite teacher of the show. You know, you guessed it, Señorcito.
Hey.
Hey, it sounds like your car is farting.
All right, it's really fogged up in here.
Yeah, well, it was this morning. So, speaking of that, what's the
It is a chill, crisp January morning here in Central Florida. So if you have your jacket, go ahead and dust that off. Right now, the car says it's a chilly 49 degrees, but it doesn't feel as bad as it has been in the past. So
weather, man? Ooh,
get out there, enjoy this weather. I already see people walking and jogging and doing their thing. Back to you, Patricia.
thank you. Weatherman, your audio is a little off. Yay, the morning show. So, but it's all good. I'm just gonna mute you. Still has a little. When I watch the replay, I can't hear it, but I certainly can hear it now, and that just like does something. But anyway, so in the spirit of the habit of self-reflection, yesterday we spoke about the wins and starting with that. And it was motivational Monday. And so the quote though for this week is this: motivation is what gets you started, Monday. Habit is what keeps you going. Jim Ryan. I don't know how to spell your name, Jim. My apologies. But thank you for this quote. I found this was a good one. It was in my IG about a year ago, and I wrote last year back in high school, I thought all I wanted last year back in high school. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That was definitely a typo. Not last year. That was like decades ago. Decades ago, back in high school, I thought all I wanted to do in life was motivate people. And I'm realizing that it's temporary. It's the kickoff, right? It's the launch. I'm growing and thriving, equipping my clients to create, experiment, and thrive with habits, rituals, and practices. As I remind myself as well. I mean, honestly, coming here to morning show is the practice of broadcasting, going live, informing, sharing is caring, and I'm putting in the work, the hours. So yeah, so motivation is definitely the beginning. So how can we go? And then again, we talked about highlights and victories, and then for those who believe those are way too big and broad, we basically your wins from small to medium to big. So and then today we're gonna take a minute, same thing, we're gonna go grab our pens. You're like, what, a morning show, you're giving me homework? Well, it's an invitation to do so. And yeah, we are going to take a minute to do just that. And with that, we're going to put some music, some serene story 1. That's what we're gonna choose. Yeah, same thing from yesterday. And Jay-Z, if you wanna think about some of the lessons from last year or last week or yesterday or a minute ago, you have the floor if you wish to. I know you're driving. I hope you're not writing. So, and you're muted. So just let me know, wave at me if you got something. If you got something. Okay, here we go. We got the 1 minute countdown. Here we go. Grab a pen and paper. And I'm going to go do the same thing. Hey, I made it just in time. Stay awake, Zito. All right. Man, a minute goes fast. If you're watching the replay, pause me. Pause the video or the Millionaire Real Estate podcast. And I love when he goes, stop the tape. He's from the 90s when he's saying stop the tape. Yeah, because it's really just pause the broadcast. Oh, stop Hammer time. Oh my gosh, it's not even Throwback Thursday. And I'm like, talking about MC Hammer. Excuse me, I see some shaking of the head. Let me see the disapproval. Oh boy, that's all good. It's all good. Okay, so if you had some trouble with lessons, the biggest thing that I actually find helpful for myself is back here. It start with what you're struggling, and the takeaway, or what I would like to share with the word lessons, is that is another big word that I know when asked, people are like, what? It's overwhelming. It's huge. Kind of like, the victories from yesterday. And unfortunately, I thought I wrote it down in here, and I did it. But one of the things that I like to start is like, what is something that made me struggle today? Now, if you're from our circle where Jimmy and I belong for like 20 years, I'm talking about a different struggle. Oh, anyway, well, I'm talking about what was like, oh, that got me angry, or, oh, hold on a second, that did not feel good. And, we can just ignore stuff like that. And what happens is we let it pile up until one day you put all that under the rug. JC, what happens when you put something under the rug and you had enough?
You explode.
Oh, he explodes. Oh. Is that your exploding face? Hold on, one more time. Let me see your exploding face. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Yeah. So, and my apologies. But it's, how do we turn lessons into wisdom? Okay. Basically, we get into practice of writing down our struggles. And I know that the more, especially if you were tuned in last season with the morning pages, it's getting all that crap out. Like, as you wake up, you know how we can wake up with like tons of negative things. Like, I don't want to be awake. Why am I here? Why am I at this job? Like, what's going on? It's getting that habit of writing that down. And if you dare to go back and read it and then find, I hear the puppy crying. I don't know why she's so afraid. Find or look for solutions to that, then could the other end of the tunnel have possibilities of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? You find out. How can we turn lessons into wisdom over time? I gave the answer within the question. It's over time. it's in time of putting that down in a piece of paper, to be able to snap. It's not about snapping. It's about taking two steps back to take a look at yourself and how you work. um no one's gonna know what actually bothers you. You know what, that comment. Oh, let me take Zito out. You know that comment. You're good, you're good. You know that comment that so and so said, why did it bother me? And it's getting curious about ourselves. So in my journaling, I put in struggles, cross a line, and I put solutions, so I could start getting that habit of how can I make that better. And there are times that there are no answers. So the goal here, or the answer here, is continue to do that so you can continue to explore about yourself. So I'm not sure if Senor Zito, I think he's still chewing. I'm not sure if he does have something to share with us. And yesterday I shared mine with the real estate. It's taking something that I could stay. I mean, how many people maybe just did not stop dreaming about their journey as a real estate agent because they failed the test? I wonder what's that ratio. Although I do find real estate agents really with a lot of grit. I mean, because you're going into sales, so getting comfortable of getting a no, it's what we look forward to. At least I do. No, okay, that means not yet. Or honey, what's my reaction when you say no?
Oh, you mean when I say maybe?
Oh yeah. What's my reaction when I say maybe?
Yes.
Wait, close up, please.
Yes.
It's looking for that opportunity because it wasn't a no. And even though when people tell me no, in my head, I'm like, yet, maybe you don't see that yet, right? And it comes from the heart of seeing the possibilities for this person. So again, I've learned a lot to back off, to let people go through their own journey. Still very much hard with Senor Zito. Come on, let's keep it real, right, Zito?
Yep.
Yeah. Especially those close to you. So anyway, guys, it's what I wanted to share. Zito, you had anything in mind before we close out?
Why do you think it's hard for people to figure out wins?
Because they are stuck in their struggles. And that's top of mind because it's still swimming here versus just releasing that on a piece of paper. I will say that will be my top reason.
So
Um,
being stuck in a struggle, does that mean that you just so overwhelmed with all the negative you can't even see anything good?
Yeah, I really do believe that it blinds people. I mean, I also know that people are afraid of writing things down, and that to me is a bigger sign of just being in touch with the resistance. If you're resisting that, these are different forces that are influencing you from healing, from letting go. So with the lessons, one thing maybe we could also ask ourselves is, what am I willing to let go? But if we don't stop to even write it down, or even to say, hey, what's some struggle? What can I learn from this situation? We're gonna keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So
I think for most people though, it's not. I don't think they would describe it as a fear of writing things down. I think it's more of like, well, what's the point? Like,
yeah.
what is this gonna do? Why is writing it? Why do I need to write this down? What are you doing? I'm upset. You got me talking about wins. All I can see is the negative. What would you say to someone who is like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to write it down? Why?
Yeah, well, it's an invitation. They don't have to. And my job is not to convince people. Um It depends really who that person is. If it's a blue, they probably want some scientific background, some study in Harvard, because when you hear from Harvard, oh yeah, that's got to be true. Let me apply the power pen to paper. If it's a yellow, someone who's already positive, I'm sure they're already writing, because they want to like instantly change. A red person, same thing. It's growth, growth, growth. Yeah, I want to grow from it. A green person, ooh, that's the person that doesn't want to change at all. So green and blues,
Well,
this kind of conversation not apply.
have you had a conversation about the colors yet? Maybe that's a good topic for tomorrow, explaining what all those colors mean.
Yeah, I'm almost done with the book. I promised myself I will challenge accepted. I will finish the book so I could talk about it. It's good. I'm more of a fan of the human design because it focuses more, it gets the colors out of the way, because then labeling people a certain color I'm finding not fair, right? Because I don't want to limit just all greens and blues don't like to change. But it does help to see their reality.
And this is a personality test, right? When you say the colors and the human design.
It's a behavior test, not a personality. It's yeah. So yeah, and that's the dangerous part from tests like this, how people could perceive it or take it. It's your personality are your choices, right? Behavior is how you react to things naturally, right? It's how more like you're wired to react. All that, in my opinion, especially with 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, with all the books that we've read, Think and Grow Rich, we could reverse that. We could change that. But it does help to just meet people where they're at if they choose to be this way. I'm definitely not a fan with like, especially when remember we were doing like the marriage retreat, not us, but we were part of it. And it just felt as if, well, that's just my temperament. That's just how I am. And there's a danger in that, in my opinion, to put that first instead of, I'm sorry, or you know what, let me think about that. I received that, let me digest it, let me go think about it, get back to you. Right, like for me it would be like, take a 2 steps back before you give any kind of answers.
Sure.
So
You can almost become a victim of the tests, right? All of a sudden you have a diagnosis and you're like, it's just my personality, that's who I am.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll go back and rephrase what I said. It's that when people have or they ask, why should I honestly don't believe that I could give the benefit. So going over the 7 benefits was maybe way too fast. So yeah, I would say go back, read a blog, give it a test. I mean, that is the whole product I have here right there. Oop, the journal. It's a 90-day journaling, self-reflection process where you get to experiment, like you get to find out, right? If you're like, I want answers now. I was with my coach for a program I've invested on my health, telling her, I was like, wow, I'm teaching story work and the power of our self-talk and what we say to ourselves. And here I am being so harsh on myself, and not writing that down. So this morning, it was wonderful because that's the first thing I dumped. It was like, whoa, because we talked about a few things. The word telling my belly that it looks like a belly muffin She goes, I wouldn't say that to you. And I know I've said that to people. Would you call that to your daughter or to your son? And that was like, ooh, Derek hit. But that hit me when she said, I wouldn't say that about you. And I was like, whoa. So shout out to Rachel. To helping me, that's the power of coaching that I see. It's a bit of a mirror with questions. And I got to dump that stuff down. So I got a new name. Do you want to know my new name?
Yeah. Is it Tony?
It's not Tony. I started with Belly. Then I went to, it sounds way too cute, not too serious. Like I'm not really serious about it. And then I was like, okay, core. Okay. What about center? Okay. Ooh, core center. That sounds like something from a textbook. Okay. So I went down, what do I actually want? Ooh, I want strong abs. And I was like, you know what? I don't like the word abs. So I was like, strong center. That made sense to me, babe. That made sense because say again?
I said nice. I have a question with that. So when you came to that, did you write that down as you were trying to rename?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So it almost seems like to me like writing this stuff down, it's almost an opportunity to slow your thinking down so you actually can have a conversation with yourself instead of repeating those, scripts or those things that we say to ourselves.
Recording.
Yeah. Like, like when you're that inner dialogue, the things that you constantly repeat to yourself.
Yeah.
I am this. I am not smart. I am not athletic. I am not, fill in the blank, whatever it is that you tell yourself. I'll never lose weight. This always happens to me.
Yeah. And, oh no. Okay, there he is. Oh, you're muted. Okay, you're back.
Slow your thinking down so you can actually have a conversation with yourself. Maybe that's a good way to approach it with people who may be resistant. Like, why the heck you want me to write that down?
Like someone we know?
Like, what does that even mean? Are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it's me.
It's part. Can you hear me now? Well, what's your resistance, Jimmy? Believe he got out. So if you're like in that boat as Jimmy is and has brought up for spontaneous conversation on it, give it a try. That will be my thing. Let me see. Let me ask him. Hey. Can you hear me now?
I can. I think it was me. I had gotten a phone call and I declined it.
Oh, okay. Well, I had asked you what hesitates you from writing things down. Because I know you're asking about yourself. And you're muted. So sorry. Jimmy, you're muted. You're muted. I'm so sorry. Maybe you're not, and you guys could hear him. I couldn't hear you. Oh, I didn't hear anything. Oh man. I don't know if it's my end. We'll watch in the replay, but I do want to hear what you said. You're driving. So why don't you I guess call me afterwards. I'm really interested. So maybe it's my end that I can't hear, but I will hate for me to end the show. I can't hear you. No, I cannot hear you.
What about
okay.
now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Okay, please do share.
I was saying for me, it's exactly that hesitation. I think when you get to a point where you're talking about this stuff, for most of us mere mortals who aren't going out and seeking coaching, we're at a moment of crisis. We're fed up. We're done. We're exhausted. and it's like take out a piece of paper. It's like, why? Like, like what the heck?
Fair. Mm-hmm.
And I think just considering it, okay, this is an opportunity to have a conversation with yourself. As a person who's asking you to write this stuff down, I'm trying to teach you tools that you can go now and do this on your own. And just something to consider, because I think when people have been in the language game, or they've been in a situation where they're used to having these conversations with themselves, they're used to slowing down their thinking and doing, like, not just journaling where you're having like a complaining session to a blank page, but a journal session where you're actually trying to edit your story, edit what you say to yourself, change the inner dialogue. I think that's a good way to approach it with people, is like, no, this is just a tool right now. I'm trying to teach you how to have a conversation with yourself. Because for me, I can wrap around the idea of having a conversation with myself.
Okay.
And, not just like, okay, write this down, because I've heard the gurus before say, like, the difference between a person who doesn't make their goal and a person who does make their goal is that the person who made their goal had that goal written down,
Not how it goes, but okay.
And for me, that always like screams like BS, because I feel like there's also selection bias too. Like, the people who wrote something down and didn't achieve that goal, we never really hear from them because they didn't really achieve their goal. Like, no one really cares, versus like, okay, what is actually going on there that I can understand. Okay, this could be a good tool, like, and like any tool, I do think eventually, I think after doing that, I can see a final destination in all this, after like years of doing this, actually being able to have conversations with yourself in real time, for most things, whether or not you actually get a chance to write that stuff down, if that makes sense.
One more time, the last thing you said.
I can see a person like learning how to talk to themselves by using, like, okay, writing the stuff down and looking at what they wrote,
Mm-hmm.
as like a tool that, like, eventually you're doing a lot of that stuff, even if you don't have a pen and paper in your hand. Maybe you're sitting in traffic, maybe you're driving, and you're having that conversation with yourself, and you're looking at your words, you're looking at the way you talk to yourself.
Well, have you had like success with what you tell to yourself in
No.
that matter?
No, which is what I'm saying. It's obviously it's not now. I'm like looking ahead. I can see like that this could be a skill that you could practice, and you can get better and better and better at it.
The writing skill or the thinking skill?
Both.
Okay.
Because the writing, I imagine, can help structure your thinking.
Got it. Yeah, well, I have I'm going based on, I've talked to people when I'm angry, or whatever, frustrated or struggling with something, and that personally, maybe at the moment felt, oh, what a relief, it's so good to talk to people, but I find that it's been temporary when I not it's and then I'm not talking about the 4-step method. What I'm talking about is the habit of self-reflection, meaning getting into a practice of writing things down. I'm not even talking about 4-step or story work or any of that. And not even a conversation with yourself. I'm talking about just write it down on a piece of paper. It's putting that away, that heaviness that's taking so much space in your brain, to putting it down where you can see it instead of being here. And that is what Mark England at the Enlifted Method, love that story when he puts that notebook in your face. So it's not even method, it's getting in a practice of self-reflecting. So whether so I would say test it out. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, you got to give it a try. You see what works better for you to think through things in your car. Because there's so many podcasters that do encourage you to go home and write that down. Like, get it off in paper. And one podcast being the millionaire real estate agent. So, so I'm not dismissing thinking and reflecting out loud in your car, because that sparks many ideas. Kind of like the motivation part. Like, when you're watching something that's motivating, you're what's it called? Spectator. What's the word?
Spectator.
Yeah. When you're
Spectator.
taking that pen to paper, you're actually a participant of it. And it goes back to the quote that I was sharing today, because it's taking that. I'm giving you guys, you, Jimmy, whoever's watching this far in the show, an opportunity that, habit is what keeps you going, and that habit is an active habit. It's the process. So my invitation, as we're going to go through the end of the show, through the end of May, it's an invitation to put that down. And yeah, do I have a product about it? I do. But you could literally do this in a napkin, or a piece of toilet paper, so give it a try. That's my thing. It's give that a try. If you're resistant of people telling you what to do, that's on you. Like, I'm simply giving that invitation to put it through the tests, and the habit of self-reflection, on a piece of paper makes you more of a participant, rather than, oh, okay, that was such a good point. Like, how many seminars do we attend, and it's like rah 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 the whole weekend, and you're back to your old habits. You're back to doing that same thing over and over, expecting different results. So I say that if you want to hear benefits, which is it's fair to say, okay, give me some benefit to what you're saying, is that you become an active participant of your own life versus an expert. Oh my gosh, I can't say it. Tell me the word again.
Spectator.
One more time.
Spectator.
Spectator. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Break that down. So yeah, I mean, I'm not asking people to have a conversation. I mean, putting things in the morning pages does help get as I called it last season, get the evil out, get it off. Do it every morning. That's what I do. Like, that, I don't have journaling as as something that I'm tracking. It is now automatic. Like, I don't miss writing whether that's a paragraph. It is what I show up for my mental space. I'll be more crazy. If you think I'm crazy right now as your wife, or intense, whatever you want to call me, it will be a lot more. It's my sanity. It's my time to express that. Some people can say universe, yourself. It's my time with letting God know what I'm thinking, and I'm not by all saying God fix this. I'm saying I'm participating in this releasing of what is bothering me. So yeah, so that's what I will say for you, and for those who hesitate to write things down. So ask yourself, is what I'm doing currently working, or am I still playing the same thing over and over again, wondering why things don't work out? So I will say that. Are you parking already?
I'm parking.
Oh wow, yeah, I can see other cars. So yeah.
All right, well, I can get out of here.
Okay, Zito. Well, you have a good day at work. Thanks for joining and asking questions. We shall talk more when you get home. Let's see. Let me get a close up. Oh, honey, that was a little fakey smile. Look at that grumpy face. Anyway, thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you if you've gone this far in this conversation, drop a comment or send me a text. I'm dying to know. Let us know. Thank you for joining. We will see you mañana, same time, 8 a.m. Thank you guys.